Alright, YouTubers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you had a great introduction by me and that you really want to change the way both Flight Simulator looks and the way you fly in Flight Simulator. I'm now going to start a new video on how you should set up the Flight Simulator in the Flight Simulator, because there are two things to this tweak. Actually, three things. You should have now got the CFG file downloaded, but not really installed, because this is what you're going to do beforehand. And then lastly, you're also going to change your video card settings, but that is actually and a little bit unfortunately up to you, but I'm actually going to tell you how to do that as well. So let's begin. This is the introduction screen I'm sure you're very used to, or if not, this is what you're going to see when you come into Flight Simulator 9. So firstly, if this is clicked, start flight with ADC window open, declick it. You don't want that. Now you can leave the main screen and enter the settings area. In here you will find the settings for the general, display, sound, international air traffic control traffic. As for the scenery, you'll find the scenery library, controls for the controls, and realism and weather for these two settings. But we're going to go and start with general. Here, actually, I declicked log flight time because I do log it on a piece of paper or in the Word file that I have. So this is entirely up to you if you want to have that clicked. Show cockpit tooltips. You want to declick this. It's highly disturbing, and just don't click it. Pause on task switch. This one you will have clicked or selected if you wanted to pause your Flight Simulator should you hit Alt Shift. I actually have it on or clicked, selected, because I do want it to pause. But if you're flying longer distances, make sure to unclick this. Prompt on exit. Yes, I do want the simulator to prompt me on exit. So it asks me whether or not I want to exit the program or not. As for the time, use system time. That is what I use. You can also use the flight time, but I use the system time and it works really good for me. The text display, I think it's best both for the A to C that is built in or comes with a Flight Simulator, and for I'm not sure if it actually changes anything to the radar contact, but do be sure to have it on continuous. And you can now leave the tab. Going into display, you have the scenery, aircraft, weather, and hardware tabs. So just don't complete one and click OK. That is not going to do anything good for you. So it's going to be later on set to custom. The terrain you set all the way up to 100. That is very important. Terrain texture size all the way up to high, or as far as you can go, and that is also for the land and water. Because if you have water effects on high, it's going to take the terrain detail to land only. So I actually use the settings for terrain detail, land and water high, and water effects to low, because I do, as I mentioned in my previous video, fly with Synertax FS Water, and that changes a lot. So this is definitely the best setting for you if you use the same as I do. Dawn and dusk texture blending. This is a thing that actually blends the transitions between textures at dawn and dusk, and I highly recommend it to be selected, as well as the extended terrain textures, and it does exactly what it says. It extends the terrain textures into the distant, and it says it may decrease your performance. It doesn't do that, because we are going to fix that in the CFG file, so no worries. Special effects detail, well, some aircrafts requires this actually to be set on high. Otherwise, you might have a problem loading the aircraft. So set it to high. It doesn't take any FPS hit on whatsoever. And if you do think it's fun to watch your plane from outside view while it's taxiing, this should be set to high because there might be some effects or special effects that you won't see if this is not set to high. So just be sure to set it to high. Coming down to scenery objects, the scenery complexity should be always set to extremely dense. And it says that you can adjust the number of custom buildings and scenery objects to be seen. So just be sure to put this slider all the way up. It goes for the autogen density. I'm sure you've seen this before. Should you take it down? Some people say yes, some people say no. I have it on extremely dense. As for Flight Simulator 9, well, it is a software that came out back in 2003. So after all of the updates and tweaks I've done, just be sure to set it on dense. That's going to be really, really good. Add-on dynamic scenery, I have this declicked. You can either have it clicked or declicked a little bit, dependent on what kind of add-on scenery you have, or third-party airports or third-party airport services like AES or anything. I'm not sure. This can take an FPS hit, so I have it declicked. Ground scenery cast shadows, that is usually an FPS hit, but I have it clicked, and so should you, as well as the sun glare and lens flare, even though some say that if you have active sky or Rex, you could have these declicked, and just check with your video card to make this good either way. I tell you now to click them and to select sun glare and lens flare and have it that way. Don't click OK, just move to aircraft. Here you will find the global aircraft quality, and it's going to be set to high. Virtual cockpit gauge quality needs to be set to high, otherwise it's going to be both blurry and not really nice to see. Reflections, yes. Aircraft cast shadows, yes, even though this can be an FPS hit. And landing lights, of course, because this is also affected by Rex and also by 3D light production, so yes. As for the weather, it's going to be custom. Now you wonder, why is this only set to 60 miles or 96 kilometers? Well, because in real life you would probably not see like 128 kilometers away, so just be sure to set sight distance to 60 miles or 96 kilometers in Europe. The cloud draw distance at the same place, 96 kilometers, I believe it's kind of good. And the 3D cloud percentage, 200. Cloud detail, simple clouds are detailed. Well, you would have to go detailed clouds. And the cloud coverage density should be maximum. Do not click this one. And do not click that one. Move on to hardware. Here you will find your device name. Yes, I do have a name, the Radeon HD6520G.0, but it works very good actually, and I have just 4 CPU threads. Either way, this is highly important. Set it to unlimited. Do not lock your frame rates here. Definitely not. You can and probably want to lock them with your own video card, but do not lock them here. Available display resolutions, set this to match your highest resolution on your video card or as close to. Render to texture, this affects the multi-texturing, and be sure that it's selected or clicked. as well as the transform and lighting. Anti-aliasing you should definitely not select. It should be deselected like this, because that is also another thing that you are gonna have to deal with your own video card. Filtering. Trilinear is what you will have to choose. You can only choose non-bilinear or trilinear. You will have it set to trilinear. This mapping quality, if you go beyond 4, it's probably going to be blurry. So what I do recommend is that you keep it at 4, not below, but exactly at 4, and then deal with your mapping quality at or in under your video card section, usually down here, down right in the activity bar, or through the control panel. But set it to 4 for now, so that is good. Hardware rendered lights. This can be set more than 6, but I keep it at 6 because I have also the light reduction, and I have racks, and I have been improving this a little bit in the config file, so usually I keep them at 6. Global max texture size, massive. Again, it says it might decrease performance down there to the left. Well, it's not really going to do that, so just make sure to have it on massive. Click OK. Sound. Here you can play with the volume. This is usually, you can have any number here that you like. This works good for me. Engines 50, cockpit 30, environment 50, navigation 10, lessons flight that I do not use 80, and air traffic control that I do use on 80. Sound quality definitely on high, and that is regardless of what kind of audio device you have. Click OK. International units of measure, US system. You can have a metric, but since we're flying in fleet, I use the US system, and northern, eastern, latitude, longitude. Air traffic control, show A to C text. Yes, because you do want the text to be shown like a window when you fly. And click your A to C button to display it. Auto open A to C window. Make sure to deselect this. You don't want it to auto open, and especially if you're flying with FS traffic or any other AY tool or traffic tool, make sure to deselect this, because it's highly annoying if it's going to open up every time a pilot says something or requests something over the comm system. So just make sure to deselect this. Use a pilot voice, yes, otherwise you're not going to hear anything. And here you can choose whatever voice you need. These voices are going to be changed if and when, I should say, when you install the radar contact port. Go on to traffic. Here, actually, as for now, just in order for you to test things, I actually recommend that it's going to be clicked something like this in the beginning. Make sure to deselect these first, because you don't want to have any label or any tail number or manufacturer name coming up on the AY traffic. If you still want the default traffic for any, I would have to say stupid reason, then just make sure to deselect this and it won't annoy you. If you're flying with, or you should fly with, for instance, ultimate traffic or FS traffic, if you're not flying online on VATSIM, that is, then you could set the airline and the general aviation types to be represented, and the amount of traffic that you want. Usually I do not go over 65 here on the slider, because this is definitely an intense FPS hit, and regardless of what machine you have, this will definitely draw down on your FPS. Scenery library is just a library of the airports and the default scenery that is installed. So for instance, if you would install an airsoft scenery or flight Tampa or anything, then this is the destination folder that it would show up in. And you could also move up and down the priorities of the sceneries. Some sceneries actually require the priority to be higher than others. Controls, this is just for your joysticks. I'm not going to go through it because this is a little bit dependent if you're flying with a joke or if you're flying with a joystick and rudder paddles in throttle quadrant. So this you will have to actually find out yourself what works best for you. Down here you will find realism or weather. As for realism, just make very sure to put all these sliders to full or the highest as realistic as possible. General, P-factor, torque, gyro, crash tolerance. Especially this one, crash tolerance, because if it's put on this and you're coming in for landing or you are on a taxiway, I'm going to show you up here on the front. This is your airplane, you're coming in for landing. The probability that you will bounce off the runway or bounce off the taxiway might be there, so just be very sure to put it on realistic and you won't have that annoyance anymore. Pilot controls aircraft lights, definitely. You're the pilot in command, you should also control the aircraft lighting as well as gyro drift, and you would probably want to display the indicated airspeed or the true airspeed up to your likings. Display flying tips, definitely not. This is another annoyance that you would have to deselect. So just deselect it and you'll be okay. Crashes, once again, it has to do with this crash tolerance. Crashes and damage. If this is set to ignore, the probability of bouncing off just like this is quite high. So detect the crashes. Aircraft stresses cause damage, yes, and allow collisions with other aircraft. Both yes and no. This is a little bit dependent on if you're flying, let's say, from a highly congested airport such as Heathrow, then you would probably want to have it off for taxi and then on for the remainder of the flight. But there is also probability that AI aircraft will fly through you, and if you have it on, then you would have a crash. If not, it's probably, if you're flying with a lot of traffic, you can actually fly it without. But I keep it on for now. Enable auto mixture, definitely not. You would have to do the mixturing yourself. Unlimited fuel, definitely not, but that would be a nice feature in real life. And GFX, yes, you would like the GFX to affect your aircraft. Auto rudder, no, since you would probably be flying with a joystick that has a feature of a rudder feature left and right, or if not, you would probably want to have your own rudder pedals. If not, if you only have a joystick that doesn't have any rudder pedals, then you should click it. So that was it for the settings here, and I hope you set it to be a little bit as I did, at least. You should actually mirror them as good as possible, because otherwise your CFG file will be affected in the wrong way. You don't want that. Now I'm gonna actually put up a link to the next video explaining the CFG file. So once again, thank you so much for listening, and tune in the next video. Thanks.